This little female is known to researchers as Gyra. She's tiny, weighing a mere 2 pounds, 200 times less than a lion. She'd be almost impossible to find, but she's being tracked with a radio collar. And using surveillance cameras that rival a cat's night vision, we can at last reveal her nocturnal pursuits. She can walk 20 miles a night in search of food, the farthest recorded for any small cat. Guided by superb night vision and responding to the smallest of sounds, she finds almost anything that moves is a potential meal. She'll even eat locusts. But she prefers gerbils. Or if that doesn't work, birds. With a wiggle to tuck her legs in, she gets as low to the ground as possible. Primed like a spring, she can deliver maximum power to jump. She hits her target 60% of the time. It's what makes black-footed cats the most lethal hunters in the entire cat family.
The most important thing in the world is divine truth. Did you get that? The most important thing in the world is divine truth. Divine revelation, the word that comes from God. It alone saves from eternal hell and judgment. It alone sanctifies, and that is, moves the believer from patterns of sin to patterns of righteousness. It alone enriches life at every level, in every relationship. It alone instructs us in how to interpret the world. It gives us a worldview that is divine so that we deal with everything in the world from the standpoint of reality and not fantasy.
Lẽ ô bươn phá cầm phi ô nông nhật tổng bộ tùm tục khúc 10 ปีโออ่านพึ่มพาคัมภีร์และพระเจ้านูนริยมโอและ
I am in prison for telling others about Jesus. I don't know why they didn't shoot me. The interrogations are the only time I am out of solitary. I recite Bible verses to myself, but the words are getting harder and harder to remember. I can handle the torture, the starvation, but I desperately need my Bible. Every day I pray over and over for God to give me a Bible. Every day I pray over and over for God to give me a Bible. Now I have my chance. The interrogations have ended, and the guards trust me to go into the jungle to gather firewood. Working as fast as I can, I will collect 2 days' worth of firewood. I'll bring 1 bundle back and leave the second bundle in the woods. This is what I need to do. It is very risky, but God is answering my prayer. I will risk everything to have a Bible. God has answered my prayer. I have a Bible, but I must be careful.
Please do not fall into the error of thinking some people study the Bible because it's their gift. Or some people pray more than you because they just have that kind of disposition. One of the most helpful things I ever heard, I heard from John Piper, and its application to my life was unbelievable. And that was this, when I heard that he said, I have to fight for absolutely everything. And I've asked other men about this. Men that I admired in the Word, men that I admired in prayer, and men that I've admired for their godliness. And you know what? For every one of them, it wasn't any easier to study the Bible than it was for me. It wasn't any easier for them to pray. They had to fight the same exact battles. Then what's the difference? They knew their life depended on it. I remember one of the greatest preachers you've probably never heard of is a man by the name of David Miller. He's had such an impact on so many people's lives. And I was chopping wood for him one day because he's in a wheelchair. And I was chopping wood for him. I remember the first time that I heard him preach. He goes, I can't imitate him well. He's going to kill me for this imitation. But he's like, turn in your Bibles to Acts chapter 2. And so I did. And then he proceeded to read Acts chapter 2. About halfway through it, I realized he wasn't looking at his Bible. He was just quoting Acts chapter 2 off the top of his head like it was nothing. And he could do that just about any place else. So I'm chopping wood one day and I said, Brother David, God has really given you a gift of memory. He said, no, he hadn't, Brother Paul. Don't talk like that. I just work at it harder than you do.
Turn please to the New Testament book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past,
Rolls-Royce makes some of the world's most luxurious cars. Known for producing handcrafted automobiles that promise a seamless magical carpet ride for its customers, a Rolls-Royce car does not come cheap at prices. But with virtually unlimited optional extras, upgrades, and customizations, the true cost of a bespoke Rolls-Royce has no limits. In fact, Rolls-Royce refuses to even discuss its base prices.
There isn't really a specific base price which we would just discuss because it really depends on each customer as an individual and the bespoke options which they like to design and develop with our bespoke team.
So what are some of these bespoke extras? And is that what makes Rolls-Royce so expensive?
One of the first obvious starting points probably is the colour. We have a palette of 44,000 plus colours. We replicate people's lipsticks, something from your house, something your own, something you've seen. Even we've done the dog of an owner, a red setter. So we exactly replicate them, whether it be by the DNA, the chemistry or whatever. For us it's unique. It'll be registered as your colour and you can give it a name and it's yours. And if someone else has seen it and wants to use that exact finish, we have to go to that person and ask their permission. When we go to the paint shop, you'll see it's called the Surface Finish Centre, because it's a bit of an insult to say we're painting the car. It's more than that. You're going to have at least some layers of coat. There's primers, there's base coats, there's colour, and unusually we put on 2 clear coats of lacquer. But you could have up to 23 layers of coating, which we've done before, equating to about 45 kilograms in weight just of coat.
In addition to the endless variations of colour, Rolls-Royce customers can infuse their paint with materials to create special effects. One particularly wealthy customer went one step further, requesting the addition of 1,000 diamonds.
We wanted a bit more sparkle in the finish, so it gave us a bag of diamonds. We crushed them, they were infused into the paint.
Remarkably, the detailed paintwork on Rolls-Royce cars is done by hand by just one person.
My name is Mark Court and I am the coach liner for Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. A coach liner means that I am able to put this pinstripe onto the side of the car. The uniqueness is the fact that I do it completely freehand, and I'm the only one within Rolls-Royce that can do this. That's like worldwide within the Rolls-Royce BMW group. So the brushes I use is made of squirrel hair. We found that most brushes nowadays are man-made, and which tends to leave brush marks within these lines. This is a natural hair. This natural hair tends to leave no marks at all. So we work to one standard, which is the highest standard. So we use one that leaves no brush marks at all.
There are several unmistakable features of every Rolls-Royce exterior. The handmade Pantheon grille, the self-righting wheel centres that ensure the RR logo is never rotated, and the Spirit of Ecstasy ornament. In fact, in 2003, BMW paid $65 million to acquire the rights to the Rolls-Royce name, symbol, and the Spirit of Ecstasy. But it's inside the car where luxury and cost dramatically increases. To create a virtually silent ride, Rolls-Royce adds approximately £300 of acoustic insulation around the cabin. Its tyre manufacturer, Continental, even developed special foam-filled tyres, which reduced the noise of the road by 9 decibels. The results were so profound that Rolls-Royce removed some soundproofing to avoid causing acoustic sensory deprivation. The dashboard of the Rolls-Royce Phantom can even become a bespoke art gallery. Customers have commissioned artists to produce all sorts of designs for this space, including this gold-plated, 3D printed stainless steel installation that replicates the customer's DNA profile. Another shining feature of Rolls-Royce is the Starlight headliner, an intricate series of fibre optic roof lights that recreate the night sky.
It takes up to 16 hours to build the Starlight headliners. We're starting by drilling it, and we perforate every single hole to thread fibre optic through every single hole. We've got up to 1,340 holes. We're doing this to achieve the stars that are on the sky. So we're going to have the sky in the night covered with stars.
As with all things Rolls-Royce, customers can create bespoke Starlight designs, including randomly generated shooting stars. One customer even had their design matched to exactly replicate the constellation of stars from the night they were born. The embroidery on the upholstery is also tailor-made to the customer's design choice. The most complex embroidery project Rolls-Royce has completed is this special Rose Phantom model, which consists of 1 million individual stitches.
The Rose Phantom is the biggest embroidery we've done to date. We'll have to map out exactly what order we're putting all those embroideries onto the leather so that they all join up to match some of the stitching. There's no tolerance, it can't be out by a millimetre, otherwise it's completely written off. Just take a small aspect of the Rose Phantom. It's a good example of the development of one of the butterflies. What seems relatively simple in like an image actually becomes very complex for embroidery. So for the Phantom Rose headliner, there's a few techniques that we hadn't used before. Because of the scale of the Rose headliner, we had to break it down into individual elements. So each individual butterfly, the flower heads themselves, and then all the vines and leaves. So you can see here it's basically different layering of different coloured stitches in different densities.
Rolls-Royce has seen a boom in sales over the last 10 years. In 2019, sales increased by roughly 25% to 5,152 units, with the average age of a Rolls-Royce owner dropping from late 50s to mid-40s. The most expensive Rolls-Royce model ever built was the Sweptail. The result of over 4 years' work, this one-of-a-kind car was reported to cost $13 million, previously holding the title of the world's most expensive new car. But while other top-end car manufacturers focus on speed, maneuverability, and super lightweight supercar status, Rolls-Royce cars are expensive for one reason: luxury.
Übe!跳!
明显快，他快，小林快。
目前小林已经领先，小林已经到了150下。哇！小林仍然在稳步前进，他的失误率几乎为0。我好像真的没有看到小林中间停下来过。陈小林挑战成功！看着累。
Hat sich nochmal nach vorne gearbeitet und ist völlig entkräftet, schafft es gar nicht mehr über die Ziellinie, der muss noch ein paar Meter und von hinten kommt der Nächste, da muss er jetzt rüber und der krabbelt übers Ziel, das ist ja Drama pur. Aber er hat es gerade noch so geschafft, Michael Kunjuga, der Mann mit...
Carrara marble is one of the most prestigious marbles in the world. A slab can cost up to $400 per square meter, and over history it has been used for some remarkable buildings. Think of the Pantheon in Rome or Michelangelo's iconic statue, David.
In fact, Michelangelo himself used to come here to choose personally the slab for his masterpieces.
What from a distance might look like snowy summits are actually mountains made entirely of marble. Welcome to the Apuan Alps, a mountain range in northern Tuscany that stretches for 58 kilometers and reaches 2,000 meters high. Marble has been carved here since the ancient Roman times, and because of its millennial history, the Carrara quarries have produced more marble than any other place on Earth. The market as a whole is worth over 1 billion euros, $1.1 billion, and produces 4 million tons of marble every year, with 13,000 people involved. The quarries were even featured in a James Bond movie, with Daniel Craig driving an Aston Martin DBS up the marble slopes. To get a slab of marble, the quarrymen drilled 3 holes, a vertical one from the top, and 2 horizontal ones from the base. The 3 holes meet in one single strategic spot. The diamond wire is positioned inside 2 of the drill holes and is rotated by a machine placed on rails. The cable then saws the rock and is continuously filled with water as it turns, as water acts as lubricant. The technique is repeated 2 times to sew the remaining sides until the block is fully detached from the mountain. For example, a slab of statuario or Caracatta marble can cost over 10,000 euros, $11,000 per ton. And if that marble is extracted from a cave, expect the price to go up as cave mining bears higher extraction costs. The more expensive one is usually the type of marble that's exported. Last year, 1.2 million tons of blocks crossed the Italian border to China, the United States, and Germany as the top 3. The marble that stays goes to local businesses and artisanal workshops, which are distributed along the coastal towns of western Tuscany.
Questo è una riproduzione di un pricione di Michelangelo. Sarebbe lo schiavo